and practice understanding. Time to listen and practice understanding. Hi everybody, and welcome back to A Whole World of Love. I am Era of Love, and today I'm bringing you another video about singing. Yay! Before we begin, I just want to say if I don't seem like my smile is as big as usual, it's because my lips want to
literally fall off of my face right now.
So, I'm not sure if anyone else gets that as the fall winds come a-blowing, but I don't know, I think my lips just want to fly south with all the birds, and they're just trying to literally detach from my face to do so. At least that's what it feels like. So bear with me and my half smile, or I could do one of these. We'll see how I feel, but
either way, don't judge me, thanks.
All right, so today we're talking about singing and how it should always feel good. So let's get started. I'd like to start this story, or I'd like to start this with a story, which is kind of included in one of my videos in my Losing My Mom Changed My Singing Voice video, which you can check out after this one. In that video, I mentioned how I was trying to learn whistle tone while experiencing grief. That sounds so random. Let me contextualize that a little bit. But I was kind of just exploring these very different techniques, very different singing styles than I ever had before, and pop was a big part of that because I almost felt like it was so shallow most of the time that I was almost hiding in that as like a coping mechanism. I was having trouble finding songs that were really reaching my heart and felt like they were meeting me where I was at in terms of the intensity I was feeling. So then I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm going to listen to pop and kind of go the opposite route and just keep things lighthearted throughout the day. Through that, I was still very emotionally vulnerable and moved by anything, including whistle tone, specifically in Ariana Grande's song Imagine that had come out around that time. Those whistles would make me cry all the time, which I talk about in my whistle tone video. You can check that out too. But there was a certain emotional charge to them, and they definitely moved me, so I wanted to learn how to do it. While learning that, I definitely was feeling a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort, but I was pushing through. Until I saw a video of Ariana Grande herself talking about vocal technique, and she very clearly stated, singing should never hurt. I don't think this should have been revolutionary to me at the time, since I was teaching and I was singing. And I don't think I would have let a student feel pain if they told me that they were feeling pain. I specifically remember one time a student who was feeling tension and pain, and we stopped, we slowed down, we started at a safer space. But when it came to myself, I just wasn't really using enough awareness, honestly, to realize that I might have been causing harm or feeling pain. I was very numb at the time and just not very aware of what was going on. But when I saw that video and when I heard her say those words, I was like, I think I've been feeling a lot of pain, and I think I've been potentially causing harm. So that was kind of the wake-up call for me when it came to tension and realizing how much tension I really had, especially while singing, and starting to just question what that meant for me as a singer, what that meant in terms of the way I showed up as a teacher, and otherwise just wanted to know more about it and be more diligent when it came to keeping my voice safe and the voices of my students and the people I was teaching. So, singing should always feel good. Let's talk about the physical part of this first. The physical piece to this is quite simply just the concept of tension. Our bodies are constantly fluctuating between tension and ease, and even at one moment there can be pockets of tension and ease. Maybe one part of our body feels easeful, while another might be carrying an imbalance in weight or tension itself, like we're holding our muscles tighter in that area. And there are certain parts of the body that tend to collect tension more than others. So some of these are the jaw, the shoulders, the neck, our pelvis, and our psoas, which is the muscles kind of right by your hip crease on the front of your legs. So these are all kind of tension centers. And then, of course, we can carry tension in other parts of our body. A lot of femme people might carry tension in their belly if they were told to suck in all the time. There can be other places that we carry tension, but mostly those are going to be the spots that you're going to notice gatherings of tension. So either in your jaw, your shoulders, your neck, your psoas, your pelvis, and potentially the belly. These tension spots need to be tended to, and for different people who are experiencing different things, they might need to be tended to more. So we're going to talk about that in a little while, but that's kind of the physical piece of this, is that we literally have pockets of tension where we are gathering stress and holding our muscles tighter, or there might be some kind of structural imbalance that creates pressure on one side and might form a muscular knot. The other side of this is emotional unrest, unease, discomfort. So a lot of times when we're singing, we might feel emotional unrest or disturbance if we have a very critical voice in our mind, a very critical, self-observing voice. Instead of viewing things as neutral, we're constantly trying to categorize things as acceptable or bad, basically. And we might be really hard on ourselves, and I think a lot of you watching probably understand what that's like and know what that voice sounds like in your own mind. So experiencing this kind of discomfort or not feeling good, the emotional side of not feeling good while singing, a lot of times comes back to that critical voice. Because even if we're singing something that's sad or that's embodying our grief or our frustration or any kind of adverse feeling, if it's honest, it can still feel cathartic and good in a way. It can feel like a release, and feeling feelings can just be that. But when we're critiquing ourselves, that's when like shame and self-blame and self-doubt and a loss of your sense of self-worth come in. And those aren't even just fleeting feelings. Those are like deep-seated feelings that will be all pervasive through your perspective. They'll change the way you view yourself entirely, the way you view the activity that you're doing, and the way you see your world. So it's kind of just different than feeling pure sadness or grief or frustration, because it's really how you feel about yourself. So all that being said, whether you're experiencing physical tension while singing or some kind of emotional discomfort and, tension, there are ways to support yourself through this and bring some ease into the experience. Before we talk about some of the ways that you can bring some ease into the experience and maybe remedy some of that tension, let's talk about some exacerbating factors. So there are definitely things that can make someone more prone to experiencing these kinds of tension. Maybe you're super comfortable singing by yourself. It feels really good. It's soothing. It's healing. But then as soon as you step into a one-on-one lesson or a performance, it doesn't feel good and your body feels tight, or that critical voice starts to turn on. So sometimes being observed can change these things, and that's an important thing to look out for and notice. And voice to your teacher if you're working with a teacher, or even just voice to yourself. Write it down or say it out loud and be curious about it. Say, that's interesting. When I sing by myself, I feel really good. But when I'm in front of others, something changes. And where am I feeling that? Is it emotional? Is it physical? Or is it both? Outside stressors can also, of course, affect these things. So even if something has absolutely nothing to do with singing, let's say your job is stressful, or you're having challenges with your family or your partner, these things might creep into your practice and either fill up your mind space and basically distract you from making sure everything is feeling good while you're practicing, or they can create tension in your body that, whether you want to carry it into your practice or not, we sing with our body, so you're going to carry it into your practice. So that can definitely impact your voice as well in your practice in terms of tension. Grief or loss is, of course, one of these things as well. It's kind of deeper than an outside stressor, and it's almost guaranteed to affect your body. Some people don't experience physical grief, but if you've experienced like a big loss, you're definitely going to carry that in some way, potentially in your body and in your emotions. So that can come into your practice as well. And finally, in this section, mental health and any kind of mental health challenge that you might be personally facing, whether that's an anxiety disorder, a depressive disorder, or otherwise a mental health challenge that affects you, can absolutely be a factor and impact the amount of tension you carry in your body, in your mind, in your emotional being, and then, of course, in your singing practice. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can bring some ease into your experience despite any and all of this. The first thing to do is to always check in with yourself and ask, does this feel good? Does anything hurt right now? Am I feeling tension physically? And am I experiencing emotional tension right now? You can write it down. You can journal about it. You can talk to a friend or a loved one about it, or even just say it out loud. But having this piece of asking yourself that question, checking in with yourself, and then acknowledging it in a way that is kind of bold, either saying it out loud or writing it down, so that it really sticks. So this just generally creates an acknowledgement and brings things to the surface in a way that if you don't ask a question or you don't say it out loud, it probably won't come to the surface in the same way. So that's the first step, is acknowledging and checking in, and then kind of affirming what's going on. If you check in and you realize, yeah, there is tension while I'm singing, whether that's physical or emotional, something that you can definitely do is call in more support. So if you don't have a teacher, find a teacher. But if you do have a teacher, talk to them about what you're experiencing. And this can definitely happen if you're learning something new. If that means you're learning a song that's in a totally different genre than you've ever tried before, or a new type of skill. These can all be ways that you might see tension show up when it maybe didn't before. But definitely call in more support, whether that's with a vocal teacher, a vocal coach, a vocal medical expert, or a mental health expert who can help you with some of these experiences and hopefully give you some tools to ease some of the tension. The next thing I'll say is, whether you're experiencing physical or emotional tension, bringing relaxation into your practice in a really big way. Like, not just a little bit, although a little bit always helps. Make relaxation a big part of your practice And make sure that that's happening for you every single day, because this kind of tension is definitely not only attributed to singing or only going to show up in singing, but rather singing is a practice and therefore a window into your deeper experience. So if while you're singing you're feeling tension and seeing these thought patterns happen, I'm pretty much guaranteeing to you that those things are happening other times in your life too. But a singing practice kind of calls you into being more attentive to your body and your mind in a way that maybe you aren't when you're just walking down the street or you're at work. So, making sure that relaxation becomes a part of your daily life can really help you and ease some of these stress and strained points in your body and places in your mind. Try slowing down when you practice, and even just slowing down the rhythm of your being. So if you're thinking about something while you're learning to sing, try to think a little bit slower. If you're speaking the words out loud or you're singing, maybe try to sing with a metronome, or if you're on YouTube singing along with something, slow it down and try things slowly and see if that helps. And the last thing I'm going to say is try singing with a friend or a group of friends. Singing with people that you love and you trust. I guarantee you that probably at least one of them are showing up with a similar experience when it comes to tension or emotional tension and adversity in their mind. And not only can you relate, but also singing in a group is scientifically proven to be healing and amazing for our nervous systems. So that can definitely help ease some tension. Otherwise, there are definitely a lot of practices that are for your voice or for your body that are scientifically and with the wisdom of ancient practices known to release and relieve tension, as well as train and support your mind when it comes to easing that natural critic, or if you have some kind of mental health challenge that makes that inner voice even harder to deal with. These practices can help with that a little bit too. Of course, if you do have the latter or you're experiencing that, working with a mental health professional is of course the best thing you can do, but a lot of these practices can support you in that experience as well. If you'd like me to make more videos like this or make videos with specific practices, well, then you'll be excited, because I do actually have some plans to make videos with specific practices. I put up like a 20-minute warm-up video on my channel that you can check out that includes relaxation as well as some vocal exercises, but I plan to put up more and hopefully some shorter ones too that you can kind of grab and go. I enjoyed making this. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Leave me a comment and let me know if you related to any part of the video or if you have a question. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and I will see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Bye.